What's going on, everyone? Steve here. Welcome back to another episode of The Line Cook. A lot of subscribers have been commenting, asking me, Steve, what do you use when you're out here fluke fishing? What's the setup? How do you find fish? All kinds of questions like that. I'm hoping in this video I can answer them. All right, so we're gonna start off by talking about the rod. The rod that I have here is a St. Croix Mojo Inshore. I'll tell you the ratings right now. It is a 7'6", medium heavy power, and 10 to 20 pound line with a 1/2 ounce to 1 1/4 ounce lures. I'll show it to you right there, so you can see for yourself the specifications. I really like this rod a lot when I'm fluke fishing. It's really sensitive, and I have it paired up with a 4000 size Shimano Vanford. The braid, this is Suffix 832 15-pound braid. Now, most people use around a 3,000 to 4,000 size reel when fluke fishing. I find that the Vanford being like so light, it really fits well on this rod. It's got very good balance, and it's really light. Like, I can cast around with this all day, no problem, and it's very, very, very responsive. So what I like to do is I like to connect the braid with a 15-pound fluorocarbon leader with an FG knot. If you don't know how to tie one of these, you can find a lot of YouTube videos about it. It's a really great knot because it goes through the guides easily. You don't get tangles, and it's very, very strong. Like I said, we got 15-pound fluorocarbon leader, and the first thing on the top of that rig is my teaser. Now, this is a Thunder Mist Lures teaser, a T-turn swivel. And as you can see right there, that's what it does. It's tangle free, and it really helps the presentation in the water, keeps everything straight up and down. And that's sometimes what the fluker are looking for. It's all about the presentation for these fish. Got a little bit of sand on the grub, but I like to pair that up with a 3-inch Berkley Gulp. It's a little mullet, gives it a little action there, and that is what I use for my teaser. So after I tie that on, about a foot and a half down, I have my bucktail, which is tied on standard fisherman's or clinch knot, tactical angler's clip. And this right now I have on is a Spro bucktail. I'm using John Skinner SNS bucktails, Spro bucktails, ranging from a 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce, depending on the conditions we have out here. You want to try to go with the lightest bucktail that you can get away with on the surf. Right now I have a 1/2 ounce on, and that should be pretty good for the conditions I'm fishing today. If it's really choppy, really windy, you might need to go a little bit heavier, but generally you want to try to keep it as light as you can get away with. As you may have seen in the previous videos, I love using Gulp. I have all different colors: white, orange tiger, pearl white, chartreuse. You know, depending on the conditions, you can change up the color. And if you're not getting bites on a color, change it up, try a different one. But definitely my go-to is the orange tiger and just the pearl white. I'm gonna go ahead and show you how I rig that up. Once again, I'm using the 5-inch Gulp. You're gonna go through there, just a little bit out, hold that skirt. And most bucktails have a little stopper there to keep your grub on. Push that right down. Fix up your tail. And there you go. You're rigged up. You want to try to keep this as straight as possible. You really want this to be nice and streamlined. Presentation is good, and it's going to look great in the water. Now, sometimes when I'm using a really light bucktail, I usually don't have this problem with the John Skinner bucktails, but with the Spro, I find that the hook, the gap between the hook is just a little bit smaller. So sometimes I will take about an inch or so off this so that the grub itself goes on just a little bit more, if that makes sense. So the next part we're going to talk about is finding fishable water. And when you're fishing open sandy beaches like I am in this video, we're really looking for that deeper water next to the sandbar. So you can see where I'm standing right there. There's actually a little bit of white water to the left of where I'm fishing. That's where the sandbar is, and that's the shallow water where that wave is crashing. So here's another look at it. You can see where that white water is. That's some more shallow water. As we zoom a little bit more to the right, you're going to see the sandbar just goes out a little bit more. And within there is that deeper water, that trough where those fluke are swimming. More to the right, the sandbar is going out just a little bit more, and that's where that deeper water is. You know, you can see where that wave is crashing. That's a telltale sign that the sandbar is out a little bit further. So this is some water that I'm looking for when I'm trying to find fluke. And that's just my personal preference, but that's where I find most of my fluke on the sandy beaches, is within that trough, near a sandbar, in some of that deeper water. So now we found an area that we'd like to fish. We have the sandbar off to the left, this deeper water here to the right. It's kind of a channel where these fish are gonna be in. So some people think that you need to make a really far cast when you're fluke fishing. That's really not the case. It's all about just putting the bucktail in the right place. So we're gonna cast right up to that first wave here. Let that bucktail sink to the bottom. Make sure you reel in any of the slack. And you're gonna start jigging the rod. You can see that the rod tip here is just really bouncing up and down, creating a lot of action on that bucktail. And with the other hand, we're slowly reeling. That's what you're gonna wanna do here to work the bucktail. If you've seen John Skinner's channel, those of you who know John Skinner, he is, I'd say he kind of made this technique and made it what it is. And I've been paying a lot of attention to his videos and applying that to the surf here in New Jersey. But that's it. Slowly jigging the rod tip. And that's the idea. You want to bring it all the way up to the surf. All the way up. Because these fish can be right here in the wash. So a lot of people like to ask me how long I fish in one spot, and the simple answer is you just got to keep moving. I'll start off by making, I don't know, 3-5 casts in one area. If I get a bite, I'll keep on fishing, but if I'm not, I'm gonna move down the beach and try to look for a bite. That may be 20 yards, that may be 200 yards to the next good looking spot. So it all depends on if there are fish in the spot. Are you getting bites? If not, you might want to move. I like to actually put the butt of the rod right on my hip. I got my hand right here on the top of the grip, and that kind of makes it like really easy to jig this rod. You can mess around with the retrieve, sometimes a little bit slower, sometimes a little faster, but that's how you jig. Got him. There we go. What do we got? That's a sea robin. Oh, it's a fluke. First one of the day here. It's probably the 3rd or 4th cast. You can see he ate the bucktail right in the corner of the mouth. That's what you want to see. All right, buddy. See you later, man. So he bit the bucktail. That's good. He was a little short fluke. Not a keeper, but that's a good sign. So we'll make a cast right in that same area. Yep. Another guy. Oh man, the tiniest fluke ever. On the teaser. There's a T-turn swivel at work there. Oh, quick release. So I probably made about 10 casts after I caught that last fish in that spot. So I decided to pick up and move on to the next spot. Hopefully, I went over and answered any questions that you had about the rig, how to use it. And with that said, let's get fishing. So I've been fishing for a little bit and I'm already out of water. And with it being 90 degrees out here, I'm really thirsty. I gotta go back to the car and get some water. Then I'm gonna come back out. Maybe hit a different spot or go further down the beach. But we're gonna go to the car for a second. All right, we're back at it. We took a little bit of a longer break than expected. It was just so hot. I decided to just wait out the heat a little bit. Drank a ton of water, and now I'm back out here. We got about maybe, I don't know, 2.5 hours before the sun sets. gonna try to see if there's some fish around. It was just way too hot. We definitely have low tide conditions coming up here, which could be a good thing. You know, I don't really fish low tide that much for fluke, so it'll definitely be a little learning experience here. We'll have to look for the little bit of deeper troughs where there's still some fluke hanging around. But you never know. I almost have a little second wind. Woo. It was just so hot. Had to go back to the car and get some water. Definitely a heat wave coming through this week. I think it's going to be with like 90, 95 coming up. Today was 90. Very, very hot. But I definitely feel better now. There we go. Nice. Good looking fluke on the teaser. Very, very nice. We'll go ahead and let him go. Probably about 15 or so. Water's looking very clear too. See you, bud. Yep. There we go. That feels pretty good. I think it's a robin though. With those head shit. Oh, it's a fluke. Nice. Just a fighting fluke. Another guy on the teaser. This guy's definitely thick. Definitely a little short. Beautiful fish though. Love the colors on him. I'm gonna let him go. See you later, buddy. Took right off. Nice. He feels good. Let's see what we got. Fighting. Staying down. Oh, it's a robin. Ah. That's a chubby robin. Look at that. Look at that sucker. Another nice robin. There he goes. So the end of that trip ended up being a little bit slow, so I decided to throw in some clips from some of my previous videos here that I posted recently. This one is from one of my trips where I got a limit of fluke on the bucktail. I'm gonna post the link, so if you want to watch that video, by all means click it, check it out if you like the content like this. This is another video as well, and plenty of recipes on there as well, so if you're looking to cook some fluke up, definitely check it out. All right guys, I think that's it for this one. Hope you learned something. No keepers today, but still a great day out here fishing. It's always good getting out. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, definitely hit that subscribe button, because we'll be out here fishing and cooking again shortly. So with that said, go out, hope you catch them up, and I'll see you next time on the Line Cook. See you out there.